Are you thinking about moving to Bend soon, or even a new neighborhood within Bend? Well, if so, make sure you watch this video to understand exactly the drastic transformations that are occurring in Bend over the next few years that will really play a role into which neighborhoods have a lot of equity growth, which neighborhoods actually get worse and more congested, which arterial roads become a real bummer for commuters, and just get a good sense of if this neighborhood you're looking at in 2025 or 2026 is actually going to be the same neighborhood that you want to live in 2028 or 2030. So in this video, we're going to cover the urban growth expansion here in Bend, the opportunity areas where Bend is actually going to get taller and denser, more walkable, more bikeable, the expansion areas where it's expanding out, the new developments occurring, and we're going to talk about also the new developments that you should know about and a few other aspects that are really crucial to know before you move into a neighborhood. My name is Callahan. I'm a top realtor here in Bend. I focus on helping people relocate to Bend and buy new construction. I find myself a bit of an expert in the new construction realm. So if there's anything I can do to help with your move to Bend or finding a new construction home, certainly reach out. All right, let's get into the video. So for the sake of understanding what we're talking about here, I built out this map. And basically what this map is it illustrates the urban growth boundary. And then it's got two different shading zones. So the red line is the urban growth boundary, as you can see here. And then these blue zones are all the expansion areas. The purple views are all the opportunity areas where the city of Bend has identified that they want to grow taller and denser, more walkable, more bikeable. So before we dive deep into each zone, you have to understand what the urban growth boundary is and why it's so important to all cities in Oregon. This is a unique thing to Oregon, and basically in every municipality in Oregon, there's a line that's drawn around the city that says this is as far as you can expand your city services like city water, sewer, and ultimately be your city. And you have to get permission from us, the state, if you want to expand your urban growth boundary. And you can see that in all these blue areas. And then just recently in this last year, they expanded into right here, which is the Stevens Road tract, which adds another huge expansion area to combine. And I'll talk about this Stevens Road development, but it is ultimately going to be the largest master plan community in Bend. And then where they also expanded just recently is right here, which is the Caldera Ranch site. Now there are two different expansion areas on the table in 2024 for this Caldera Ranch site. The other one was Juniper Ridge, a little further north. And this Caldera Ranch site won out. And so that means Southeast Bend on the whole is getting a tremendous amount of expansion in terms of master plan communities, commercial developments, and ultimately like a basis for living. So now let's go through the entire map and we'll talk about the key civic improvements that I think you should really know about. And then we'll talk about the new construction developments that I think you should be aware of, their impact on traffic, walkability, livability, and which places are really poised for equity growth and which places are poised for potential higher congestion and less livability. Quick note on this map, if you're a total nerd cartographer and you want this map, just reach out, text or email. I'm happy to get it to you. There's a couple other aspects of this map that I think are really helpful. I've made for clients in the past. Like I've added this high school boundaries layer. So if you know that you want to be in a certain high school district, you can just click this layer and it makes it really easy to search what neighborhood you want to be in. So again, reach out to me, LukeCallahanGroup@gmail.com or 541-633-3422 to text, call anytime. And I'm happy to get you this map. So let's talk about what's getting built. We'll start right here at the top and then we'll just work our way around. So right now I want to talk about basically the civic improvements that are occurring. And a lot of them are in this infill area. So again, these purple zones are areas that the city has interest in making it taller, making it denser, making it more walkable, bikeable, less reliant on car transportation. The cool thing about that is that if you get a lot, you get a house that has acreage, it has size, as a place gets denser, the more square footage you have becomes more valuable. So keep that in mind when looking to buy. First things first, let's talk about what's getting built and we'll go from there. Top of the list, is, and possibly the most controversial, is the Hawthorne Bridge. And we can see basically there's this new Hawthorne Bridge that's going to get built. It's a pedestrian bike bridge that's going to basically span Highway 97, Hawthorne Boulevard, connecting downtown to basically a straight shot to the Juniper Park. Water polo, gym, Pilates, sauna aficionados. You got a straight shot to downtown, walkable, bikeable, right down Hawthorne Avenue. Their goal is to reduce the friction between the west side and the east side and make it more accessible. And I think that's commendable to do that. Ultimately, right now, you kind of have these pockets in here of commercial that don't get a lot of traffic because it's like, well, you're going to come down this dead end and cruise around. But as soon as you open up that flow, you get people passing through, and you better believe commercial real estate on Hawthorne is going to become more valuable. So, if you're in the investment side of things, I would certainly look to kind of these I would call them eddies on the river, these areas that don't get a lot of flow and circulation right now. Once this bridge comes through, it will create more frontage, and so certainly look to that as far as investment opportunities. Next up, we have the Jack Straw. Now, this is another opportunity area that Bend has highlighted, and this really is quite close to the old mill, and you're getting some new townhomes right here. But the Jack Straw, is a huge development. So Arizona Avenue is really a prominent spot for social life, for groceries, for basically living when you're not at work, is how I would describe it. So the Jack Straw is going to be mixed use. It's going to be a great spot to live, work, walk. You've got Market of Choice right here. You've got Podski right here they are, I think, the #1 seller of Rainier's the last 3 years running. So it's a sweet little bar. And then you've got the food carts with my favorite, Americana, the best smash burger in Oregon. Some of the best coffee shops in town. If you know, right around here. And then you got access to the river. So with Old Bend here, it's like it's a low density, highly desirable place to live. And now it's just getting even more walkable with what's coming here. It's pretty cool. We've got 313 rental units, studios to 3 bedrooms, market rate apartments, and then it's mixed use. So probably the flagship tenant on the ground level is the Way West, which is a team up of Bend Brewing and Sisters Smokehouse. So really what the Jack Straw is signaling is like an emphasis on this development around this Market of Choice, Old Bend, live, work, play zone around the river. So if you're in the short-term rental game and you want to get into that game, if you can get your hands on a short-term rental in Old Bend or even Old Mill, you're going to be in great shape. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, I've got a couple tools that are really handy to get your hands on a short-term rental. So feel free to reach out to me. But yeah, the Jack Straw is basically just more people come into this live, work, play zone in West Bend, Old Mill. Zooming out from the Jack Straw, Old Bend, downtown, I want to show you the next big anchor of development. And with that comes the Central Library. Now, the Central Library is in construction right now. It's going to be amazing. It's 100,000 square feet, 3 different levels, indoor, outdoor, and it's really going to be an anchor hub for East Side development. People are coming to the library. People are going to live in Stevens Ranch. The challenge is the arterial roads to get from here to, say, Highway 97. So the library is fronting on 27th Street, and basically 27th Street's going to get busier. So if you're looking to buy, not necessarily in Stevens Ranch, but if you're looking to buy in neighborhoods that are around Reed Market Road, just be aware that this collector, Reed Market Road, is just going to get busier and busier as Stevens Ranch gets developed. Okay, so now we've talked about how the city of Bend is really like setting the table, creating the framework for how development can happen in Bend. I want to talk a little bit about what's happening in terms of the developments, the developers, and the areas that are really expanding quickly and will be expanding significantly over the next few years. So we're going to start from the west side and work our way to the east. So to begin with, we've got Tethero. Tethero is the high-end resort living. There's still a lot of lots available for you to bring your own builder. As Tethero goes, you basically come in, buy a lot, bring your own builder. It has to meet architectural guidelines, square footage requirements. But beyond that, as long as you're up for being either a clubhouse member or a golf member, you're all set to go, and you can get going with that. It's got arguably the best golf course designed by David McClay Kidd. He's also who did the golf courses out in Bandon. He's the Scottish golf course design master. It's a championship course, link style course, 18 holes. It's beautiful. It's amazing. So you could be part of it for the clubhouse. You could be part of it for the golf. Obviously, there's different fees associated. It's a great place. There's a lot of action through short-term rentals. So there's like a pool dedicated for short-term rentals or the people who are kind of vacationing. And then there's like a separate pool dedicated for the residents. So there is that intention of like, if you're going to be a long-term resident here, we want you to have the quality of experience of a high-end resort living. So if you're looking to buy new construction in Bend, make sure you get my guide to new construction by clicking the link below in the description or scanning the QR code on the screen with your camera. And this will give you everything you need to know about all the new construction developments in Bend, as well as all the deals that are going on. Because as we know, these new construction developers, home builders, they partner with basically financiers, or they even have them in house, and they're able to offer, a lot of times they're able to bring a percentage point down on your mortgage rate, so it can open up the accessibility of a higher priced home. So again, make sure you click that link, scan the QR code, and you can get my guide to everything you need to know about new construction in Bend. Feel free to text or call at any time, and I'll walk you through what's happening, what's getting built, and what's going to be a good fit for you and your family. Let's get back to it. Next up, we've got Discovery West. Now, Discovery West is just chugging along. It's in the second tier, just behind Tethro in terms of price point for new development. You get custom homes, but a lot of them are you're just going to buy directly from the builders already built. There's some townhome options, really excellent options there. This is one of the premier master plan communities in Bend. It's got quite a few more phases to go. It's incredible, great location. Once this place is built and Tall Line is built and Tethro is built out, the west side is getting really built out, and they're just the scarcity of homes, the scarcity of land here is a huge deal. So if you're looking to buy in a place that you know is going to appreciate in value, you can't go wrong with the west side. Of course, the hang up with that is the price point. So Discovery West, you're looking at that $1 to $3 million price point. Again, 1,500 to 3,500 square foot homes. There's some like a little smaller, some a little bigger, but that's the range you're looking at. And again, it's the full enchilada master plan in terms of, while there's no swimming pool per se, it's got the light, like the mixed use commercial. There's great schools, there's great housing, walkable to get a glass of wine in the evening, great green spaces, bike trails, access to the river. Again, if you're looking for equity, yeah, you might pay a premium high while the prices are high, while the interest rates are high, but you know if you're in it for 10 years, 20 years, it's only going to get more valuable as time goes on. With that said, because it's new construction, we can often find you a really good deal. I've got that link to sign up for my new construction guide of all the new construction getting built, so that you know what's getting built and where the deals are, and those are ever changing. So make sure you sign up to that, and I can even email you updates on when the good deals come along, because I'm constantly updating that and getting a sense of it, and it's no easy feat. So if you're interested in that, make sure you click the link down below, scan the QR code, and I'm happy to give you the quote unquote down low, the full digest on what you need to know before buying new construction in Bend. And then next up is Tall Line. Now, Tall Line is a really cool development, which I'll get into. Basically, it's like the last frontier. It's a last chunk of land on the west side. It's in early stages of development. There's a lot of opportunity because of the scarcity of highly desirable land and homes on the west side to get in early to a community like this, and especially with some of the financing options. In my opinion, Tall Line is one of the best locations for a few reasons. Number one is Shevlin Park Road. It's amazing access to Shevlin Park. That's huge, but it's really like the back door into Bend. If you've ever been slammed with traffic on Highway 97 or 20 trying to get into Bend, you'll know what I'm talking about. Shevlin Park Road is like this beautiful winding road, and then you end up just kind of skirting into town, popping in on Greenwood, and it's the easiest way in. There's very low traffic, and it's beautiful. And so by positioning themselves right here, right on the edge of town, on Northwest Shevlin Park Road. It's like you have the best of both worlds. Easy access to the park, easy access to Bend. The other aspect that I don't think a lot of people are aware of is that Skyline Ranch Road is going to connect to Southwest Century. So basically you have this back door to get to all the trails and the mountains that Southwest Century has. 74 acres, 224 homes, and there's architectural guidelines. And it's very similar to Discovery West in that, where there's like this, they've got like the modern craftsman, they've got the Scandinavian, then there's a few other architectural guidelines that they want the builders to follow. In the first phase, there's 18 homes. There's 12 phases. Phases 3, 4, and 5 just started, and with that, some commercials getting built. So you can expect construction to go on for another, I would say, anywhere from 3 to 6 years, depending on what the economy looks like. Their goal is to be done by 2030. Okay, so that covers the west side. Let's talk a little bit about the east side. The east side is where a lot of action is happening. So starting at the top, we've got Petrosa. Petrosa has been chugging along. It's like Polish Homes' flagship master plan community in Bend. It's been incredibly successful. People love it. And just to the south of Petrosa, we have Meridian. It's very comparable homes as Petrosa, but it doesn't have the clubhouse and pool. I've talked to them and was curious and am curious if they will ever grant access, like an optional HOA addition that you could opt into if you're in a Meridian home. That's not on the table yet, but maybe if enough people ask for it, they'll grant it. Who knows? Next up, working our way south, we have Stevens Ranch. I think it's second in line of the largest master plan communities in all of Oregon, behind Reed's Crossing up in Hillsboro. So this is a huge deal. It's currently, there's 2 different parcels. Phase 1 is this parcel here, and phase 2 is this other parcel adjacent. All in all, in the grand scheme of things, both phases, we're looking at 1,700 homes total. We'll have about 650 in the first phase and then about 850 in the next phase. You've got D.R. Horton and then Stonebridge. And then phase 2, Stevens Ranch phase 2 is being developed by Hayden Homes. And part of that, the first phase of that is called Parkside Place, and that's 37 acres out of the 282 acres. And basically, it's like a pilot. It's like a test of what's doing well. People are into it. And so what we're looking at is like 1,400 square foot homes. There's some missing middle homes, which would be like duplex, triplex, quadplex, or something with a built-in ADU. The price points are pretty affordable. So they're really targeting the affordable housing in this development. So we're looking at that 475 to 500 range. The goal is to be done with this phase by 2026, 2027. The way it's visioned, it should become much more of a hub on the east side, as in more commercial, more industrial, more walkable, livable, so that you can kind of live, work, play all in this zone, or at least live, work, and then maybe you're going to the river path, you're going to the mountain to play, whatever it is, but this can be closer to that live work zone. Some of the amenities, you've got commercial access to Reed South, which has like a new gas station, relatively new, coffee shop, restaurant, a few little light commercial. And then again, the big one is our Bend Central Library. Also, there's a site dedicated for a new school here. If you're tracking development in Bend, you have to keep an eye on Stevens Ranch because this is the frontier. Okay, so cruising down along here, we have the Elbow, and there aren't any master plan communities published yet for the Elbow, but just adjacent to it, we have Easton. Now, there's something I got to say about Easton. Easton is by Polish Homes as well. It's a great development. It's very much inspired by Petrosa and all the success that they've had with Petrosa. Okay, so this is Easton, right adjacent to Caldera High School. You've got Alpenglow Park. Like it's an amazing location because Petrosa can feel a bit busy while it's a little closer to downtown. Easton is very much, it's got that bucolic vibe. Now, don't get me wrong, it won't be like this forever. I mean, this is the path of progress in Bend, and so with it comes congestion, but also comes commercial options. This parcel here was slated to be commercial development. And that's always been the message from Petrosa. But just recently, Petrosa sold this parcel to another developer, and that developer found a way to mark that land for affordable housing and not commercial. So a lot of people were hoping that in this quote-unquote commercial desert area where it does lack amenities in the southeast area, and this area for commercial was people were excited about. Now it's affordable housing, which is great, of course, but people are saying, hey, we want our commercial. We want coffee shops, restaurants, walkability. So make sure you're aware of that if you're looking at buying a home in Easton. I think that's super important. Also, just so you know, each of the developments, I've created layers so you can see basically the phasing. So like here's Petrosa's phasing of each development. Here's Discovery West phasing. So if you're, again, like a total nerd like me, you can zoom in and say, hey, what phase are we in? What's coming next? You can see, okay, we're working our way down all around, so you can see what's coming up. So we just talked about Easton. Now I want to talk about the Caldera Ranch site. This is the latest addition to the UGB. This was a huge deal. Basically, Oregon has acknowledged that cities are growing rapidly, and so they allowed a one-time UGB expansion in 2024. It was up between two sites, Juniper Ridge site and Caldera Ranch site. And let me say this, that the neighbors that live here are not stoked on this addition, right? They've got this truly sweet setup where they're on the edge of town. They got a handful of acres, open views. This is an old mine. And so it's, it's pretty much wild. And now it's not so wild anymore. This is the path of domestication. The vision here is for 716 homes. About half of them, 366, are slated to be detached homes. 120 lots will be for future townhomes. 230 units will be for multi-unit housing. And 254 will be deed restricted as affordable housing. And they'll be deed restricted for 60 years. And affordable housing is just defined as 80%, somebody who's making 80% of the median income for rentals, and somebody who's making, or a family that's making up to 130% of the median income for purchasing the units. The Caldera Ranch site is 91 acres and 716 lots for residential, 12 phases of residential construction and 1 phase of commercial. There'll be 9 acres of open space, 4.5 acres for a park. Okay, so now you got a good sense of what's happening on the Caldera Ranch site. Finally, we have the Ponderosa master plan. Let's talk about that. Just west of Highway 97, south of Ponderosa Street, we got 42 acres, which will be 371 new housing units. Single family, townhomes, apartments, affordable housing. There's supposed to be some commercial, but I don't know how much. And that's kind of the information I've got for you. As I get more, I'll tell you. But I do think this location is worth checking out. I think the homes are going to be reasonably priced. Okay, that wraps up our discussion of what's coming to Bend, and hopefully it gives you a vision of the way Bend is growing. Again, if you're interested in that map, feel free to text or email, and I'm happy to get you a copy or get you access to it, because I think it's really helpful to see these expansion areas, these opportunity areas. You really get a sense of where Bend is growing outwards, where Bend is growing inwards, where the arterial channels of traffic that are really going to get busy. I'm looking at you, Reed Market Road, and the neighborhoods around there that are going to get congested. So be mindful of that. The city, of course, knows this. They want to expand these areas, but we have to be aware of that if you're going to buy a home, not necessarily any one of these new construction places, but in these neighborhoods that are going to get congested with traffic. So you got an understanding of that. You're welcome to the map. If there's anything I can do to help you, I want to be your source of new construction, relocation to Bend, and choosing the right neighborhood that it's a fit for you. So make sure you call, text anytime. It's never an inconvenient. Any hour of the night, don't worry, I can always get back to you later. 541-633-3422, lukecallahan@gmail.com. And let me know what information you're looking for, what other videos, and I'd love to help you out. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you see new videos every week. Like the comments, share it with your friends. Let me know what I can do to improve, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.